Am I the asshole for not disagreeing with my husband in front of my family? BG. I, 26 female, suffered from some serious trauma as a child that my parents knew about and did nothing stop it until it was too late. As a result, I was a terrible kid. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it definitely messed me up and I couldn't get over it. I had severe depression and lashed out at everyone. My attitude was awful and said some pretty terrible things. I never did anything illegal, however I was just a poss. After I graduated HS, I did a complete 180. I got my shit together, went to therapy, apologized for everything I did and how I acted, went to college, graduated, got a degree and now have a beautiful family and home. However, it was never enough for them and my parents continuously punished me. The most relevant way to the story was by scheduling family vacations, when they knew I absolutely could not attend, and brag about their ventures in front of me. This brings us to my current situation. My sister's 30th birthday is 10 days after a major surgery I'm scheduled to have. And for her 31st birthday, she wants to go to a touristy place, one state over a few hours away. She wants to take a family vacation with the family 2 weeks after my surgery. This surgery isn't 100% emergent, but it's definitely needed and will improve quality of life beyond belief. It's not a non-essential surgery either, i.e. plastic surgery or elective. It will be 8 weeks before I'm fully recovered but can be comfortably mobile at 4 weeks. They knew about this surgery as it's really important and needed but still wanted to go anyway. I asked if they'd be willing to wait just 2 weeks after, so at the very least, I could go with them and celebrate. They all said no, which fair enough, her birthday she can celebrate how and when she wants. Of course it hurt a little, but I wasn't going to push it. My husband on the other hand was pretty pissed. He doesn't like how my family treats me. There's a lot of issues but due to character count, can't include it. He did not yell but he raised his voice a little and said he was disgusted and sick of the way they treat our small family, 2 kids, and how he couldn't sit here anymore and watch them tear me down any further, and this was messed up to constantly do this to me. I did not ask him to stand up for me. I have only expressed my frustration in how they treat me in our private conversations. He stood up, we were at a Mother's Day brunch, grabbed the kids and waited for me at the car. Everyone looked at me and waited for me to say something. I just plainly said, I agree, and got up and left. Now they're all blowing up my phone for the past few days saying I'm an asshole for not reprimanding him or stopping him from disrespecting my parents. I don't think I'm in the wrong. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole, and bravo for your husband and for you. I don't understand why you would want to spend any time at all with such horrible toxic people. Not the asshole. Your husband loves you. He's watching you get hurt and he wants to protect you. He's a good man and your family is awful. Not the asshole, but you're a parent now. Why have you been exposing your kids to these assholes? Your husband should have put his foot down years ago. You're an adult. If you choose to keep them in your life despite the abuse, then that's your choice. But your kids deserve better. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for them. Info. Why are you even attempting to foster a relationship with these people still? Why not block them and move on with your life? Especially when you have such a wonderful husband with a shiny backbone. Usually when kids act out, it's a symptom of family issues, not because they're bad, whatever that means. So your family still punishing you for things you did as a child is BS. They probably need to take responsibility for some if not most of it themselves. You have a good man there, he's your real family. NTA 100%. NTA at all everyone else in your family as though they constantly neglect you and treat you as less than, and when your husband finally stands up for you after all this time you're supposed to disagree with him. No, you're good. Not the asshole they are. You shouldn't have your childhood attitude held over your head. Also, try to reflect and think about why their approval matters so much. While you do, you should consider blocking them for a few months. Edit. Reflecting helped me a lot when I finally decided to cut my narcissistic father out. Hoping my therapist's words of wisdom can help you out too. Not the asshole. Hubby did well. Protect your kids from that stupidity. Definitely not the asshole, and you're lucky to have a supportive husband. Not the asshole. You don't sound like a bad kid, but instead a child who was suffering and neglected. I'm glad your husband is standing up for you. His response to your family was exactly right. You married a good one. Am I the asshole for asking my dad why he thinks his drugs are more important than mine? I'm 17 female. I have a heart condition that requires medication that isn't cheap. It's just me and my dad at home, and my dad earns well. The bills are always paid. I have what I need, but he's got an expensive drug habit. Usually, he makes sure my meds are got first, but I guess this month he forgot. I asked him yesterday how he was going to get my medication after realizing how overboard he went, and he said he didn't know and that it was time I figured it out. I reminded him I'm 17, with no job, and this could turn into a life or death thing fast. He repeated that it's time for me to find a way. This went back and forth for a while. Eventually I could see the guilt in his face and I snapped. So why in the name of God do you think your drugs are more important than mine? Do you just not give a fuck whether I live or die at this point? I felt really bad about this, so I left to stay with a friend. My dad texted me RHIS morning and apologized for the way he's acted and the problem he caused, but he said I'm an asshole for the things I said to him last night. He thinks I should have been more considerate towards his issues and not think so selfishly. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. His issue is that he's an addict. He is feeding his addiction potentially at the cost of your life, and most definitely at the cost of your trust. You were well within your rights to call him out, and you should continue to do so. As for your meds, is it possible to talk to your mother or any other family members for support? Not the asshole. You simply stated the obvious. The way you describe it, your dad's drugs aren't required to save his life, right? Because he went overboard, it comes off that way. 17 is still a minor and your parents shouldn't treat you like you're an independent adult. Hell, I'm in my 40s and if I needed life-saving drugs my dad would still buy them for me. Sorry to ask, but what type of drugs does he take? Medically necessary or recreational, borderline illegal? Not the asshole, but please do put all your energy into finding a backup way to get your pills and a new place to live. You shouldn't have to find a way to get your own pills. But sadly your father has shown where your life-saving pills are on his priority list. Maybe your doctor can offer you a cheaper alternative, or a manageable payment option. Perhaps your friend's parents would let you stay there until you're 18? Not the asshole, however, how do you stay safe? Your doctor may know how to get free or lower cost meds to you. But then he may file a child neglect report. I wish I could promise that if state services got involved he would be forced into rehab. But this is a thorny problem. Not the asshole, and oh my goodness. Are you sure you can be living with him? Do you have a place to stay aside from the house when he's using? What if something happened to you when he was high? He's your dad. You're 17. How does he expect a minor with a chronic condition to work in this pandemic? On short notice? That's so irresponsible. Gosh, I hope you're doing okay and you have enough. What the actual F# and dollar? No, you're absolutely not the asshole. You're only 17, still a child. Your father has a duty to put your needs before his wants, at least for the next year. But I can't imagine my parent cutting me off from life-saving medicine no matter what age I am. The fact that your father tried to justify all this by saying it's your problem, responsibility since you're 17 is absolutely disgusting. Not the asshole. Updated with more info. Your dad is an addict and is using over trying to take care of your needs. If you have a mom or someone else you can live with, I would look at my options. Last thing you need to do is enable his drug addiction. Not the asshole. As a minor, and if these are life-saving drugs, I would suggest contacting the manufacturer, explaining your circumstances, and see if they offer any discounts. It's a little-known fact but most do. How dare you want to live? You are so selfish. Your father is an addict. Is there anywhere else you can stay? Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not inviting my aunt to my wedding and saying she's not invited to my bridal shower? My Aunt Diane, fake name, isn't someone who's a nice person. She, my dad and her sister, my other aunt, do not get along. They're always feuding over politics and bullshit. I haven't seen her in years, and she's largely been absent from my life. This summer both my sister and I are getting married. My sister and I are in vastly different fields. I work for a software company as a designer, and my sister is becoming a doctor. We're just very different people with different interests. But for some reason Aunt Diane always feels the need to brag about my sister on Facebook even though she's not a part of her life either. She'll post things about how proud of her she is, how wonderful she is, and had never once felt the need to do that about me. Normally I would just brush it off, because I really don't care what she thinks. She's a sad woman. The background behind why I don't want her at my wedding is this. I got engaged a full year before my sister. My fiancé and I have been together almost 10 years now and have just not been in a rush to get married. When we got engaged, I didn't think twice about not getting a congratulatory post from her. But when my sister got engaged a year later, she posted multiple things on Facebook about their engagement, about her fiancé, about the ring, etc. That's when I lost it. I told my parents she was under no circumstances invited to my wedding or shower. I was the one who sent the wedding invites, so I never sent one to her. I'm pretty sure my dad, her brother, just told her she wasn't invited because she couldn't come anyway. I just went to my sister's shower the other day and my Aunt Betty told me that Aunt Diane would absolutely be attending my shower. I told her this was news to me, since she wasn't invited to my wedding. My mom looked mortified and got pissed at me. I refuse to have someone attend my wedding who's made it clear she doesn't care about me. Am I the asshole for not inviting her? Edit. Someone mentioned this and I want to clear this up. My aunt does not have a closer relationship with my sister versus me. Neither one of us has spoken to her in 20+ years, we just happen to all be Facebook friends. She's never reached out to either of us prior to my sister starting medical school. And my aunt and I are no longer Facebook friends lol. Not the asshole. You're not under any obligation to invite anyone. It's your celebration, so you get to decide who to celebrate with. Not the asshole, but it might be a good idea to communicate with Diane directly and explain that she is not invited. Maybe record the conversation. Not the asshole, my wife and I work in weddings, and I'm gonna tell you the same thing we tell every one of our couples. It's your day, not theirs, and if you don't want someone at your wedding then you don't need to have them there. Not the asshole. You're under no obligation to pander to assholes on your special days. Not the asshole. Your wedding, your rules. Surround yourself with people who've loved and supported you and enjoy your day. Not the asshole. It's your wedding, party, and you can invite, and uninvite, anyone you choose. Personally, I'd call her and tell her exactly why she isn't invited, and if she shows you'll ask her to leave. Not the asshole, but why the hell are you friends with her on Facebook? For somebody you haven't talked to in 20 years, you are really over-invested in what she thinks about who. Not the asshole. Speaking from experience, there's this weird subset of people that come out of the woodwork when you become a doctor. Like starfuckers, but for an MD. It's strange and incredibly annoying. Your aunt sounds like a pill, and I hope you have a lovely wedding without her there. Not the asshole. It's your wedding. Not the asshole. Your wedding, do what you want. I have a feeling she may try to show up anyways, though, to both your wedding and bridal shower.